Hello, and welcome back to City Skylines with Splat. In today's episode, we're going to be adding some additional residential to my city to help with population, including a lakeside housing development for the well-off. We're also going to be building a nightlife hotspot for tourists, including some unique hotels. So let's check it all out in today's episode. In our last episode, we put in an amusement park in order to bring some amusement to the lives of the citizens of the great city of Odyssey. And I think this amusement park worked out really well. And if one were to look at our demand icons down here at the bottom, you will see that we have a high demand for residential. Now, I would like to get the population of the city of Odyssey up higher for a couple of reasons. Number one, I would like to get my tax base higher to continue to make money, which isn't really that big of a deal because with our new unique factories we put in, I have seen our income go all the way up to $75,000 per week at times. So we're not really hurting for money right now, but hey, it never hurts to have more. But more importantly, we need to get more workers because around my city, I am seeing the problem of not enough workers. And I think it's because I've put in all this tourists, all these unique industries and the amusement park without actually adding a lot of residential. If you look over here next to the amusement park, off screen, I did kind of expand our little fishing village look here, and I put in some more of these, it's like a Swedish town theme, but I think it just looks really nice. It's like low residential fishing village town kind of appeal. And then I went ahead and kind of organized the fish factories and stuff and put in some warehouses and things just to get things out of the way because we had too many trucks coming in from the fishing industry trying to go through the tourist area and it was messing everything up. So I just moved them over here to get them out of the way. But now we are ready to swing over here and check out this area that we built for use with our Metro hub, and I want to develop this area next with a nice housing district. I want it to be probably low density, or if I do put any high density housing in, I'm going to put policy on that restricts the building of high rises because I don't want this to be a massive skyline right here. I have plans for a skyline development over there on that island. I just want to kind of continue the whole feeling of the low density residential that we did with this little fishing village, but perhaps with a little more upscaled style of structure, because these things here, they just, even when they get to 5 stars, it's not super luxurious looking, which is perfect for this area. But this is going to be a very industrial type place with the printing press and all of our factories over here. So to me, having a bunch of high-rise skyscraper type structures just doesn't seem to really match the theme for what we're doing. We are going to get started in here. And I want to do something kind of interesting. I would like to make this a bit of a lakeside community. I think I'm going to take my terrain tools and I'm actually going to extend this lake out more so that we can build around a lake and make it look a little more fancy. So let's do that. Yeah, this has gone well. I didn't make any mistakes at all putting this lake in, did I? It's perfectly fine. I don't see any issues here whatsoever. That this will be just fine, right? Yeah, that's fine. It's fine. We now have a lake around which I am going to build and put in some more residential areas in order to encourage people to move in and get some more jobs going in my city. I am also hoping to create a little bit of a tourism area to attract people away from this main tourism area that we built in the background. Because if you look over here where the cruise ships come in, basically, I view this as kind of like party town. People come in who want to have a good time, be noisy, be crazy, maybe just stay for a few days because they want to hit the amusement park. They want to do the water sports over here with the jet skis and all that stuff. And they just want to have a really good time. Maybe younger people, they want to hit the bars and go drinking, do whatever. And what I'm hoping to do is build a little bit more of a business tourism, I guess maybe is what you would call it, or family tourism. And I want to do that with some of the unique buildings and some nicer, higher end hotels. and it'll cause this area around the metro hub to be a little bit more desirable, give people a reason to come over here, and then also give them a reason to change at this hub and go into the main part of town where I've got other stuff to do. So there's a few unique buildings that I want to try. So let me show these to you. If I look under tourism and leisure, I have this thing here, a driving range. I want to put a driving range and incorporate that somewhere into my build over here. If I look under tier 2, I've got the posh mall, which I want to bring in, give people somewhere to go shopping and attract them in to go. And if I look under 3, we also have the grand mall, which I might put in, but I don't know. The other mall might be enough. But then under 5 here, I have this special downloadable building that I got off the workshop, an asset called a Blue Wave Hotel, which is kind of large, but it's just a really cool looking building. So I think I'd like to give that a go too and incorporate that somewhere into the design over here. But first off, I got to figure out how exactly I want to get everything put in. I want to have housing for sure around this lake. So I'm thinking the hotels and the touristy stuff is going to go down here, fronting the rest of the seaside area. And perhaps my housing will continue over here to the other side of the highway and fill all this up with a nice big neighborhood. So I need a district because I'm going to have a specific theme over here. And I think all of this area here is going to be the housing development. And then all of this up here is going to be the commercial stuff with the housing stuff. The driving range and things might get put in around the housing development. We'll see. But definitely the mall and the hotel is going to go down here on this side so people can get off the highway and visit that. Let's bring some roads around the lake because people are going to be living by the lake. So we're going to take the 2-lane road. We're going to put some trees on it just to make it look a little nicer. All right, so we got roads that go around the lake. We'll come back later with the Move It mod and smooth all that out. And then I got to decide how I want to connect it into this transit hub area. What I've done with the transit hub is I've built kind of a roundabout that goes around the transit hub. So bringing roads in shouldn't be an issue. And I'm thinking I want to have kind of a more major road that comes off of this each direction. And then these things tie in. So arterials with the feeders. So I'm going to go with a 4-lane and I think I'm going to put trees on it just so it's beautiful. I'm going to pull that off of here. We'll go straight out from here for now, possibly even straight out here and have that just connect into those. So let's grab these and we'll actually pull that in like that. We'll pull this one in like that as well. And I do want to Move It mod that just a touch to make it a little more straight. It's not quite as weird. We have a road put in all the way around our lake, and that's going to get zoned in. And we're going to have other roads that come off of this main road here just to give other places to develop housing. So we're just going to go in here into the 2. These are going to have trees on them because I want them to have a feel like a little bit of a nicer, secluded vibe. And I'm just going to pull these off at kind of an angle. I know it's not the most efficient use of the zoning, but do not despair, for we have a plan. All right, so then I'm going to come through here and I'm actually going to put in a bunch of trees so that as they get built in here, it's going to be a little bit of a noise barrier. As the houses build in, they'll get rid of these trees, but they're going to have trees for now. There's a bit of a sound barrier between them and the highway. We're just going to use the same tree brush we've been using everywhere else because I like the colors. Let me go through and do a little bit of a Move It mod action to kind of smooth this area out. And I'll get it zoned in and I'll come back and join you guys in just a bit. Our lakeside district is all zoned in and we've got the amenities placed in and we've even given it a name for now, Paralimnia, which basically means lakefront or lakeside. If you guys have a better name, let me know. If I'm pronouncing that horribly, let me know. I do not mean to offend anybody in the Greek community, but this is the city of Odyssey and things have a Greek name, so we're going to give that a shot. I do want to talk about the theme that I want to add to this district. So going through the theme manager, I have been zipping through what I have and what is available, and I really like the idea of using this European suburban decorated theme. It's going to have, like, the level 1, level 2s are not going to be amazingly fancy, but they're just nice little stone cottages and things like that. But then as you start getting up in the level 4 and level 5, things get a lot fancier, they get a lot nicer, they get a lot bigger, and I think it's going to look really, really cool when this all gets built in with the trees and the water and everything all put together. I'm really going for that. And then I also have this Modder Pack 5, which has a lot of dense commercial, which is going to be put in near where the rest of our unique structures go. But for now, we're just going to go with European Suburban Decorated and give that a go. So let's turn that on, close that down, crank up the speed on our game, and let's watch this thing fill in and see what we get. So we're slowly filling in here. It's starting to look like a nice little lakeside neighborhood that I would like to be a part of, I think. And while we're waiting for this to continue filling in, I think we're gonna go ahead and get the rest of our residential area plopped in as well. I want to bring this road under here, but unfortunately this road does not rise up, the highway does not rise up high enough. So do I just want to go underneath over here, or do I want to raise up my highway and keep this road going nice and straight? I think I want to try raising up the highway, which I think we can probably get away with raising it up a little bit. So how high do we actually need to go to get this thing underneath there without it looking stupid? Let's just take a regular road, turn on anarchy, let's go under, let's take a look at what we've got. Oh, we've got the new anarchy mod, which I do not like, but is required for some of the other mods that I have, that is constantly turning itself on and off whether I want it to or not. And trees get plunked in the middle of roads. I do not like. If you guys are tempted to use this mod, don't. Try and find a different way to do it. Right now I've got some dependencies that require this thing. There are better anarchy mods out there. I do not recommend this one. It's really difficult to use. I mean, other than the light posts like sticking through the highway, which I don't really care about because I can't see them, that's going to work just fine. So all we have to do is just slope this in. Maybe something around there? Yeah, that's not bad. Let's do that. Okay, let's continue on with our plan. So we're going to add in more housing over here. And to do that, we're gonna need to bring in a road just all the way across. We're just gonna bring that across for now. We can come over here. We're going to curve this one in so that they have two ways to access this neighborhood, like that. And let's continue on. Put in some walkable paths here so that people can get around. We're gonna do that beforehand. Let's do a little star roundabout. Yeah, that'll work. Probably even put in some bushes, make it look beautiful. Let's make it look pretty. What kind of prettiness do we wanna do? I think it's some azaleas. Do we have azaleas? We had azaleas. There's the azaleas. There we go. Beautiful. All right, I'm gonna bring in some water. I'm gonna get this zoned in. I'll put in the amenities and we shall get this thing growing as well. Be right back. So the Lake View District is filling in quite nicely. We're getting our population in and we're getting people to build in houses. This area over here is looking really posh and fancy. I like it a lot. And we're ready to get this commercial area put in. So I've got the Blue Wave Hotel, which is this building right here, which looks really cool. I've got the Posh Mall, which goes here, and I've got a driving range. These were the three main ones I wanted to look at, and there's possibly one more hotel we might put in. We'll just see how much space we have and what's available to us. They're gonna go over here in this section and this section and this section. So we're gonna have one for each. Possibly the driving range and another thing in this area because it's quite large. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this road in to this other road that goes to the other roundabout. Let me pause it so we don't mess anything up. And we're going to put the driving range, I think, over here closer to the residential area. So we need to build a little off road. And these are just going to be with grass. I'm not going to do any fancy trees or anything. And I think I want to have it right here by the highway to make use of the fact that it's not gonna, the noise won't bother a building like that. So let's grab the road and put it in. Let's grab this guy and move him over here and snap him in. And then we're gonna use the Move It mod to figure out where exactly he is going to go. So we're gonna have a road that goes up alongside this thing, and this road is gonna connect in just like that. Nice. And we're just gonna put in a row of trees along here and do a little bit of decorating. We'll come back and do that later on. This road is going to continue on down here in a nice straight line. It's gonna come across here, and we're gonna create like a little frontage road that doesn't actually connect to this one, but just goes alongside it, and then snaps back in here to make a loop. This little frontage area here is going to be full of leisure activities, not tourism, but leisure. I think we should put another hotel in here as well. So I had another one in here that I was looking at before called this one right here, the Executive Hotel. I think that's going to look really sharp. Or do I want to go with the MGM? Let's go with the MGM. We're going to put that one in right there. And the rest of this is going to be zoned in for leisure. Let's get our trees put in. That screams excitement. All right, so now we got the Blue Wave and the shopping area. So the shopping area is going to be right here, and it is going to need a parking lot as well. Come to think of it, so does this thing. It needs a parking garage. Put a parking garage in here. I think I've got some parking garages we can use. All right, so we got some parking for the hotel. We got that set in. Now let's get our shopping center put in. All right, so we got our mall put in and decorated, and now we are ready to work on our Blue Wave Hotel. So let's get this one done. The Blue Wave is gonna go right over here in this little spot here. So let me grab a little road. We're gonna drop that puppy in and figure out where exactly we want this thing to go. I think I want it closer to the roundabout. We're just gonna have it face right there. We'll bring the road around that way. We can have this one curve into there. All right, so let's bring a road in alongside like that. And we're gonna curve this one in like that. And the rest of this area is going to be more leisure commercial. Alright, so we got some more of our leisure stuff put in. We have our driving range put in over here. We've got our fancy hotel put in right here with some parking across the street. I've put in our posh mall with a parking lot and decorated that out and got that softened up with some planters and some green foliage. And then over here we have our Blue Wave Hotel with a parking garage across the street. And I decided to put in this department store in this area as well. Everything else is zoned in leisure, so the only thing left to do is to fire up the game, let this thing run, and see how this fills in. So let's do that right now. So while we're waiting for that other area to fill in, I've got my eye on this little chunk of land for space that I want to continue building more residential in. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on that. So grab myself my little 2-lane road here. And yeah, we're gonna start for more residential. All right, well that one's growing in quite nicely, so we're getting more population put in there. And next we're gonna head over to another area that I would like to see a little bit of more housing put in, and that is on the other side. So let's head over there. I'm looking at this little chunk of land right here, and I think in this area, I'm actually gonna put in some high density residential, just to get a little more population. So let me go ahead and throw some roads in here, get this zoned out, and we'll see what happens with this part over here. All right, so just real quick, I did go ahead and put in a few little features here and there in my area. Over here in the Lakeside district, I added in this thing here, which is a floating cafe, which allows people to come out here and enjoy a meal on the lake. But I also have this really neat thing that I picked up in my extra marina stuff off the workshop. If you go over here to the industry and go to fishing, I did get all these extra yacht clubs and marinas, but one thing I have are these really cool little boat and yacht spawner buildings that you can put in. And what these things do is they allow you to place an invisible structure on the map alongside the coast. And basically what it does is this little square right here spawns yachts and sailboats and things, and you can use the ferry route, or the fishing route, sorry, to draw where you want these boats to go. And what the game does is it spawns little motorboats and pleasure yachts and windsurfers and stuff like that. And these things are basically fishing boats that have been reskinned, but they don't actually pick up any fish. So you don't have to deal with the traffic of the warehouses and things like that come with the industry. Instead, it's just this invisible little spawner that puts these little boat props into your game and makes it look like people in this area are well-to-do and they enjoy sailing around the lake on their sailboats and their speedboats and their pleasure cruises and things like that. So like you get some stuff in that. This is actually pretty cool. He's so good he can sail without actually using a sail. And I thought it just added a little bit more of a lived-in feeling and a little bit more texture to the area to make it feel a little bit more realistic. I do want to go through eventually and start doing a little more detailing on these houses to put in some docks and things and just make it look a little bit more realistic. That's going to be for another video. I don't have time to do that today. Over here in our leisure area, as you can see, things have filled in quite nicely. We now have a little nightlife area full of clubs and restaurants and cafes and things. And I went ahead and changed out some of the roads for these zonable promenades. Now, these things are supposed to be walkways where people can go in and not have to worry about vehicles. But what this is, it's just a reskinned road. And so cars are still using the promenade, even though they're not necessarily supposed to. So what you can do to turn that off is go into your traffic manager, and you can go to the vehicle restriction button. And I'm gonna turn off everything except for emergency vehicles and trucks, because I do not wanna allow anything except for deliveries, trash trucks, and emergency vehicles to come through here. And I'm gonna disable that all the way down. I'm going to go ahead and apply this to the entire road. And hopefully, all we're gonna see is police cars and fire trucks, because there is gonna be fires and things. I have to do that to give, to keep the crime down and stuff. There's nothing I can do about it. And also the trash trucks need to be able to come in to pick up the trash. Had I been thinking ahead a little bit more, I could have put in like a little road behind these things as like a service road. And just blocked all traffic here and just put a service road back here for vehicles so that they could drop off their goods. And we might do that a little bit later. We still have a little bit of room. We could probably move this over closer to the train tracks and actually squeeze that in and move this whole thing over. But again, we're kind of running out of time on this video, so I don't want to do that. But we now have this little walkable pathway, and except for the police cars running over people, it turned out really, really nice. I put in another one over here, so I've got another dead-end road by this parking garage. And I need to go ahead and turn off the vehicles on this one too. So we're going to click on that, and we're going to say no to everything except for the deliveries, and we're going to apply that to the whole road. And hopefully that'll just be a walking path. And this place is looking really, really nice. It looks really, really cool at night. I really like the vibe with all the tall buildings and everything. It's very, very cool. Over here, our high density residential area has gone ahead and grown in. I went through and I adjusted the theme to make it match a little bit more. I went through with the Move It mod and some other things, and I changed out some of these buildings for other ones so that it matched a little bit more and wasn't quite as just randomly weird. And I like the way this looks. This fountain in the middle is a very nice addition. And yeah, I think this has turned out very, very nice. I'm super happy with our new residential / nightlife area that we've put in. And to be honest, I could sit here and just like watch this for days. I love watching people come and go, the cars go around, the boats in the background. It's a really, really cool view. So yeah, this turned out really, really nice, and I'm super happy with the build that we've made today. Well, that's about gonna do it for today's episode. I appreciate you all hanging out with me today. If you like what you saw, hit that thumbs up button. And if you don't want to miss any future episodes about the city of Odyssey, make sure that you subscribe so you catch everything in the future. That's all we have time for today. So until next time, I'll catch y'all later.